Next, we are going to Raymond in Arkansas. Raymond wants to talk about Charlie Kirk, something that's obvious. Raymond, I mean, this is as clear as Building 7. There's nothing to see here. Raymond in Arkansas, your thoughts?
How are you doing, Garland?
Great.
One of the problems, there's so many different flavors of this, and that's intentional. And we're never going to know the truth because it's to further stratify and polarize us. And that's what everybody needs to realize. A man did really perish that day. It remains to be seen. Here's the thing that's unusual to me, is that you can see the shirt is lifted up in the direction, the trajectory of which it's lifted up almost to his chin, where it came from. That shot originated from the ground, and shot placement was contingent upon chair positioning. And I noticed how, body language-wise, he was very uncomfortable with the microphone, setting it on the table. And when he set it down in his lap and dropped his hands and dropped his shoulders, it's almost like somebody who looked like they were fixing to take a punch. So, maybe this was the baked-in thing all along to TPUSA. Maybe this was their conclusion all along. I've heard every theory there is, but I know that boy got his guts ripped out, just like a nation getting its guts ripped out over this whole scenario. We need to put it aside. And lastly, can you imagine if the deplorables would have taken to the streets the last 4 years to protest auto pen POTUS?
Well, Raymond, one of the interesting things I think about the Charlie Kirk, particularly about the Charlie Kirk assassination, is this: there's an eerie parallel with the Epstein, the Epstein issue, in that when you look at Epstein, if you follow it long enough, you come to the obvious conclusion that the government was involved. That, why? Because the government told us they were involved. Because literally, we were told by Alex Acosta, who was in the former Trump cabinet, who said, I was told, he was asked, well, why'd you let Epstein get off virtually scot-free in Florida? And he said, I was told he's intelligence. Leave him alone. So it's obvious that the government was involved. And in the Charlie Kirk assassination, if in fact the FBI is involved in cover-ups, if in fact the government is not pursuing these leads as thoroughly as they need to pursue them, then that would mean that the government was involved too. So we're seeing instances where the American people look at it, 9/11, and say, this just doesn't look right. Most people aren't trained investigators, but it doesn't take a trained investigator to look at a building and say, hey, that building just dropped for no reason. And it doesn't take a trained investigator to say, if you hit by a 30-06, there ain't going to be much left. So what we're seeing is the government pretending that things that are obvious to the layman are some kind of a crazy conspiracy theory. And I think, I think that is the alignment that we get here. And that's why we're getting the loss of trust in government institutions. And people are wise to lose trust in government institutions. Before you go, your thoughts on that, Raymond?
We are purposely being designed to collapse in our own footprint, like those towers, by elements from within. That's obvious. And yeah, you're astute. But there's the thing we need to focus on is what has being in elbow to elbow in touch with the world done for us when we don't know what's going on at the end of the block. Consider your area of operation, your area of influence, your area of responsibility, where you can affect change. Start at home. And don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. And America does that to the world. So let's start with us first. Let's make us better and work outwards.
Thank you very much. Well, one of the things I've always said as an individual, realistically, if you want peace in the world, we could do all kinds of things, but there's only one thing you can really do to help bring peace in the world. You can be peaceful. And that's why I say about the United States, we're going to bring peace, Pax Americana. We would have to be peaceful to bring peace. And instead, we have demonstrated that that's not going to happen.